Hey guys, thanks for visiting my channel. I got a recipe for you guys today. It's gumbo, highly requested in my household, so I hope you enjoy. So first, you want to put a large pot on your stove and put it on about medium high. I want to put in about 2 or 3 tablespoons of olive oil in the pot. You just want to kind of coat the bottom of the pot, not too much, but you just want to make sure you have enough to start to saute your vegetables in a little while here. Then you're going to put in a few bay leaves. I like the way bay leaves taste kind of as an undertone in food, so I tend to put quite a few. I'm going to put about 4 or 5 in my pot. Then I am going to place the cap or the top on the pot and let it sit for a while until those leaves start to brown, about 5 or 6 minutes. Then I'm going to adjust my heat and then put in my vegetables. So I have some bell pepper, some celery, and some green onions. This is what I refer to as my green seasoning. And so I'm going to put those into the pot. Just toss them in there, no big deal. Make sure to get every last bit because this is seasoning. A lot of people refer to seasoning as dry stuff that comes in a can or a canister that you shake on stuff, but vegetables are seasoning too. And you want to make sure you get them in every dish that you need accordingly. So you're going to see me get every little piece in there. Then I'm going to cap it, steam it pretty much on medium or cook it down. Now here are the dry seasonings I use. Gumbo File, black pepper, Lawry seasoning, paprika, cayenne pepper, and the last jar on the end there is just regular salt. I'm going to be putting these in at different times and in different measurements, but I'll let you know the measurements as I put them in. Also, I'll make sure to give you guys a full recipe in the description below. So I'm going to check on my vegetables. As you can see, they're kind of reduced, so a little bit less than it was in the pot originally. I'm going to stir them to check it. Look at the moisture that's being accumulated at the bottom. They're getting nice and tender at this point. At this point in the pot, all we have is olive oil, the bay leaves, and the green seasoning. There is no dry seasoning in the pot as of yet because we're just cooking these vegetables down. And this is the way that you can control kind of your salt, especially, and other seasonings as well, to make sure you don't over season. So you cook these things down first and then you can move on. You'll see me move on later to actually adding those dry seasonings in. So just so you can see, all of the liquid that's accumulated in the bottom, that's all going to add to the flavor and the broth. Now here's a little bit later. This is about, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes later after the last time that I checked. It's really cooked down now. The color of the vegetables have changed. The moisture in the bottom of the pan has reduced as well. Just want to make sure you're not burning or browning anything on the bottom. And recover. Now we're going to talk about our other seasonings. So in gumbo, andouille sausage is a very important seasoning as well. It has seasonings in it, garlic, cayenne pepper, paprika, things of that nature. The andouille sausage that I get is local to my area. As you can see, it's made in Alpharetta, Georgia. I live in the Atlanta, Georgia area. So we're just going to slice that up into diagonals, and we're going to toss it in the pot with the vegetables. So checking on those vegetables again, they still have been cooking the entire time while I was prepping that sausage. As you can see, there's almost no moisture left in the pot now. Everything's very soft. And we're going to just toss the sausage right in there. As you can see here, I've sliced it all up. And now it's in. I'm gonna stir it up just to incorporate it in there. And You're gonna see me cap it again. It looks like I lost a little bit of vegetables there trying to film and stir at the same time. That's fine. We're gonna pick them back up and we're gonna put them right in the pot because we're not losing any of that seasoning. So make sure you put it back in the pot if that should happen to you. And this is what you'll be looking like. So you still have a little bit of moisture there. That's the sausage kind of starting to sweat and break down, and it makes its own moisture. We're gonna cap it, and then we can take a look at seasoning our chicken. So I use boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Chicken thighs are moist. They have more flavor than breasts, so I tend to use thighs. If you prefer breasts, you can definitely use breasts in this situation. In these chicken thighs, I have paprika. I have that Lawry Season All. I also have salt, pepper, a little bit of cayenne pepper. You're also going to see me put in the garlic paste. Again, I'm going to have the full recipe at the bottom here so that you can actually follow along with the printed recipe and the video so that you make sure you get all of your measurements correct. I put in about 2 tablespoons of that garlic paste that you see there. I'm just going to mix it up. This is where the majority of my seasoning goes when I'm making gumbo. It helps me kind of control the seasoning. I can look at it and tell if I have enough just by what the chicken looks like. So I've mixed it all together. We're going to open our pot. Now you should see a little bit of liquid, but very little at this point. There should be very little in there. Everything is absorbed. The sausage has cooked, and everything is pretty moist still in there, but not a lot of liquid to see. So then you're just gonna add your chicken into the pot. You're going to stir just to incorporate everything and make sure everything is covered. Once you've mixed it up well, those are all the seasonings that are in there in the chicken. The sausage has seasoned the vegetables, and then the vegetables help season everything. You will mix everything all together. And of course, after you mix everything together, you're gonna recover. After about 20 to 30 minutes, you're gonna open your pot back up and you're gonna see all the moisture that's going to be accumulated from the chicken. So we're gonna stir again. Check to make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom. Even though there's moisture there, sometimes things can stick to the bottom. So you just wanna make sure the bottom of your pan is clear and it's not burning or scorching or anything at the bottom. And just make sure to incorporate everything really good. As you can see, like I said, there's quite a bit of broth or stock that has accumulated there from the chicken. Steamed up the camera there, and we're gonna recap it and move on to the roux portion. So roux sometimes is something that can be very difficult. I scorch and burn it all the time, so you have to just kind of keep your eye on it. Add half a stick of butter there, and I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, just regular flour. Into it, and I'm going to stir it and make sure there's no lumps or bumps in there, so it's going to come out smooth. Mine is going to come out thin and not thick. So I'm going to keep that on kind of medium heat while it continues to cook. I actually did turn it down to low, so you get like a caramel brown color like this here. So then we're going to put in a tablespoon of cornstarch, which you can see I put in there. We're going to stir that as well. That's an ingredient that most people don't put in their roux, but I put it in mine. It tastes good, one, and it does help to thicken your gumbo, make it nice and smooth and silky. The cornstarch kind of makes it more smooth than the flour. I also, at this point, go ahead and put in my gumbo filet. I like the taste of filet, but I don't like the taste of filet when it's raw. So if you put it into your roux and smooth it in there or whisk it in, it sort of cooks a little bit and kind of toasts. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. I also have an instant roux and gravy mix. If you don't have this, you can use like a half a pack of brown gravy. I put that into and right in with the roux, whisk it in, make sure it's smooth and incorporated, and then I set that to the side. Now I love these chicken bouillon cubes. I use them in almost everything that I cook. It just adds flavor in. Some people call them Maggie cubes. There's a brand that's Maggie cubes that you can use, or you can use the Knorr ones like you saw I use. I just put in one because we have lots of seasoning and flavors. I put in half of my water. This is about 4 cups of water. I put in half of my water just to kind of check how much water was in there. I didn't want to put too much water because you really can't correct that if you put in too much water. So I put in half the water. I am going to go ahead and turn it up and bring it to a boil again. So I checked the water level, and then I put in the rest of the water, stir again, just to check how much water is there. And then you're going to see me put in the remainder of the water. So I did go ahead and put in the 4 cups of water. 3 to 4 cups of water is going to depend on pretty much your chicken and how much moisture it produces when you're cooking it. But you just want to see how much water is there. You want to see it's about that consistency that you just saw me check there. And then you can cover once you get finished here and prep your shrimp. So my shrimp they're pretty large this time. I usually don't use shrimp that are this large, but these were on sale. So these are like the 13 to 15 per pound. So they're pretty large shrimp. And I just put a little bit of that Lawry season all on them. Just a little bit because it's well seasoned. The broth and the stock that you have in your pot is well seasoned already. So we're gonna bring that up to a boil again. As you can see, on the left there, I've already started a pot of rice. Of course, you know, rice is simple. You just make it per the instructions on your bag, whether you're making whole rice or parboiled rice. But then you see my roux back there in the back has kind of just been cooling off. I put it all into the pot. Now I'm gonna stir it, and it's pretty much gonna thicken immediately. So you're gonna see that stock thicken up really quick. And it goes from a soup-like consistency to a more stew or gravy-like consistency. At this point, my pot is still up on high. I am carefully watching it to make sure it doesn't scorch on the bottom, because now we have that flour and cornstarch in there, and it is very quick to scorch. So you just want to make sure you're constantly moving it around and that it's nice and thick. So I'm showing you the consistency here where you see it's turned into like a stew consistency rather than the watery soup consistency that you had before. So it's thickened up. I am going to turn it on high and put all of my shrimp in. So I put all of my shrimp in. I'm going to make sure the shrimp are covered and incorporated into the pot. Once I have done that and I see that it's still at a rumbling boil, I'm going to cap it and then turn it off. So you can see it's at a rumbling boil now. You're going to see me turn it completely off, and I'm going to cap it. Okay. We're going to let it sit for about 15 minutes on the aisle, but the flame or the power is off. It is completely done now. You can see your shrimp are pink all the way through, but not overcooked and rubbery. Your broth is still thick, a stew-like consistency. It may thin a little bit from the shrimp, but not too much. I'm going to add parsley at the end just because it brings it back to being more fresh, kind of a more crisp taste. So I'm just going to put that in. I use curly parsley because it's easier to cook with than the flat parsley, which kind of gets mushy. Curly parsley holds its shape in anything that you cook it in pretty much, especially when you're adding it at the end. And then I'm just going to plate it with my rice, which I've also added a little bit of parsley to. I sprinkled some paprika on the plate just so it looks nice and pretty for you guys, and you can, see kind of how delicious it tastes. So try it out. Tell me how it works for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching. As always, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications. And of course, you can follow me at IG, Snap, and Facebook. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.